Welcome back to Fokker Figures, where today I'm going to be unboxing my first ever order from RWG, the Retro Wrestling Grader.
Can I get you anything?
I'm so happy.
I'm conscious that I don't want this just to sound like it's RWG versus UKG, but I can't escape my first impressions. If anyone watched my previous video where I unboxed an order from UK Graders, one of the issues I had and one of the kind of points I raised in that video was that they sent me that back in the box for a Hoover, like a handheld Hoover box that was just kind of taped back together with my figures inside it. And this is the complete contrast. I mean, it's a completely plain kind of manila box, but it's got RWG branding all around it. So both sides have got RWG branding. There's a lot of RWG branding even on the top, but I won't show you that because it'll also show my address. But yeah, first of all, really impressed that the issue I had with my last order from UKG, or one of the issues I had with my last order from UKG, is immediately being addressed by this new company. So, as I say, I don't want this to be like an RWG versus UKG thing, because this is my first order ever from UK Graders, from Retro Wrestling Grader. So I just want to kind of judge it in its own minutes, and we'll see how we go with that. So, slightly different scenario from previous unboxing videos where I've unboxed UKG orders, where I say I have no idea what the grades are, and I'll react to them live. I do have an inclination of what the grades are because RWG actually contacted me to tell me that 2 of the figures are sent off. I sent off 5 in total, 4 WWF Hasbro and 1 Mattel Retro. And they contacted me about a week and a half ago to say that 2 of the figures were expected to grade as gold level, a 90% gold level. They did also say in that email that they'd come back to me and confirm whether or not that was the case. They said we have estimated that they will be grading 90 gold level, but we will come back to you just to confirm once the grading process has been finalised, but they never did. So I don't know if that means they didn't achieve 90 or if they did and they didn't think there was any need to tell me again. And I'm not sure, but I do have that previous information that 2 of these figures at least have graded relatively high. But other than that, it is a complete mystery. And I have opened the box already to sort of take away any packaging that was in the top layer, just to make it easier to get things out. But I don't know which figure. As I say, there's 5, and I'm really just going to pull them out kind of one at a time and see what the grade are. So I'm sorry if it's not in the best order, like the most exciting figure to from least exciting to most exciting or anything like that. I'm just going to pick them out, the one that's in the top. So I'm going to, because the box is so big, I'm going to just chuck that off the table and I'll start pulling them out one at a time, I think. Push that down there. So, other thing I don't actually know is how these have been packaged, because they look like they're individually bubble wrapped, but it also looks like they've got, if you can see that, it also looks like they've got like cellophane around them as well, so not entirely sure if they're all like that or if that's just the first one. Get that out of the way. But so first of all, this is pretty cool because as I unbox it and open it up, I can tell you're not able to tell straight away which figure is which, because they've got this sort of information sleeve on the outside. That's really cool actually. So, I mean, that's a fairly good effort, you know, compared to what we're used to. But all it really says is, you know, what to do with the archive, I think. Yeah, I think that's you can look up your item. But yeah, so that's pretty decent. But keeps it a secret for slightly longer. Although this guy in here is Jim Neidhart. So Neidhart is graded 85%. So to be honest, Neidhart I thought high 80, low 85, but he's quite a good grade. He's got 85 for a card, he's got 90 for bubble and 90 for figure. So that is a really good result. Yeah, 85 overall. The other thing, just looking at it now, which I didn't realise at the time, but is obviously the case now, usually when I order from UKG I would get the plastic protective sleeve, but that wasn't an option on RWG, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that was an option, because obviously, because it's just in its case, there's no protective case in it that I'm used to. I've just noticed that, yeah, there wasn't an option to order one of those. But yeah, so there's Jim Neidhart. I mean, immediate thoughts, that is quite a sturdy case. Now, one thing I would point out though is that I mean, that is a sturdy case. It feels more sturdy than the cases that UK graders use. I'm perfectly honest with that. However, I think, unless I'm grossly mistaken, I think that there's no sort of ventilation slit, because the UK graders cases all have a slit at the back just to let condensation out. So it's like 97% sealed or something, you know, so you get the ventilation out, you don't get condensation building up inside the case. But I don't see, it doesn't seem like there's anything on this case that has that. So that might be an issue going forward. Anyway, that's the first one. So that is Jim the Anvil, 85 grade. To be perfectly honest, I think that's slightly high. I don't think it would have got that if it went to UK graders. I think it might have been an 85. It might have been an 85 grade overall, but I don't think it would have got those subgrades. 85 and then 90 bubble, 90 figure. Yeah, interesting. So let's see how we go then. Next one. Yeah, and it looks like they're all the same. So this one has the cellophane outer packaging and looks like it's bubble wrapped inside that packaging. Again, it's got the insert, thank you for using our service, instructions about their archive on the front. There we go. Now, if I just look, this one is actually, if I can see and peek in the side, this one's actually the retro, the Mattel retro. So it may be the case that we're going from kind of least exciting to most exciting, if you like, because Jim Neidhart was not one of the figures that I was told potentially would grade 90. So the 90 grades, if there are 90 grades, they're still to come. But yeah, so this is my Mattel retro. This is Gold Dust. Now, interesting about this one, yeah, I don't think it says on the information sheet. So subgrades are the same as Neidhart. He's got the 85, he's got for a card, bubble 90, figure 90. The reason I thought this one might be worth getting graded is because it's got the variant card where there's no writing around the little logo here on the card. Now, I've heard people say that is a Canadian market, it's come from the Canadian market, that's why it's like that. But I thought it was slightly rarer, so maybe worth grading. But it doesn't say that on the label. It doesn't say anything about that on the label. J-Hook black card with blonde wig. No, it doesn't say anything. But yeah. Now this one actually, yeah, that does have the ventilation slit. Yeah, so maybe it's just tighter on Anvil. That's a relief, because I thought, oh, that might be a major issue if they don't do that with any of their figures. But no, Gold Dust definitely had a little slit I could feel there. So that's good news. That's a relief. Right, next one. So this is hopefully where we're getting to the kind of business end of stuff. Again, individually wrapped up in cellophane and then bubble wrapped. Get the bubble wrap off of this guy. Gold Dust, by the way, that's exactly what I expected for that card. 85 card, 90 bubble, 90 figure. Because he was brand new, I bought him myself, I bought him out of the Entertainer, and he did have one crease at the corner, one slight crease at the corner, so I was expecting it wouldn't get a 90, but I thought otherwise he would be perfect other than that. So 85, 90, 90 is exactly what I expected for Gold Dust. So yeah, that's probably good news. And this figure, it's back to front. This one, so this is one of the ones that I was told may grade 90, a gold grade. So you take him out the packet there. This is Tito, and Tito has graded 90. He does have a 90 grade. He has straight 90s, 90 for card, 90 for bubble, and 90 for figure. You can see that there. This is a strange one because Tito Santana, the condition he was in, if I was sending him to UK graders, he was probably one of the guys that I would send in and cross my fingers. I'd probably send it in and hope for the best because I knew he had an outside chance of getting 90. Because based on my previous experience with UK graders, when you're in that ballpark, you can just never tell. You know, I've sent in 2 figures before that I thought were identical in condition wise, and one has come back 90, the other has come back 85. So there's obviously things that you can't see. The naked eye just doesn't show that they take into consideration. So he would have been one that I'd sent off hoping for the best, thinking maybe a 90 if I was going to UK graders, but wouldn't have been surprised if he came back 85. But he's come back a straight 90s from Retro Wrestling Graders, so yeah, I'd say fairly happy with that. Yeah, I think that's a good result, a fair result, an accurate result, I think. So next one, I think there's 2 more in here, isn't there? Yeah, there are. One was on its side, but so again, individually wrapped. Take it cellophane out, bubble wrap out, check who this is. This one's upside down actually. There we go. And this is the other guy that I was told had a very strong chance of grading 90. Now the reason they said that they were going to get back in touch was because when you place your order, you choose a bubble, the sticker, the colour of sticker you want for the grading certificate bit. So as you can see, I've chosen blue for gold dust. I chose blue for all of them, I think, actually, except for the one that's not out yet. And if they get a 90 grade, like Tito has, they get the 90 down the outside if you so choose. So that was what the email was kind of saying, was you've got 2 figures that look like they're going to grade 90, we'll get back in touch to confirm that, and at that point you can say whether or not you want the gold label. And they didn't come back in touch with me to ask that question, so I don't know if maybe it's just compulsory that you get the gold label. You don't have a choice, maybe just to avoid any confusion. But my second one that was told may grade 90 hasn't. So Tatanka was one that they got in touch to say, yeah, he's got a strong chance of grading 90, and he's not. He's got straight 85s. That's interesting. So he has his blue label. That's what I pre-ordered, the blue label one. That is interesting. Then Tatanka and Santana and Tito Santana, they were very similar. That's almost exactly what I just described. Like, they were in very similar condition. I'd have sent them away kind of hoping for the best if they were going to UKG. And yeah, they're separated by an entire grade, overall grade and subgrades. He's got straight 85s, Tito's got straight 90s. That's weird. That's weird. That's on one hand, I'm kind of obviously disappointed that my figure hasn't got a gold standard 90 grade, but I'm slightly relieved as well, because I was thinking, if they were, the figures that were kind of on the borderline that you weren't sure which way they go if you were sending to UKG, if you were sending them to RWG and they were almost guaranteed to get gold because maybe they weren't being as strict with their grading, then that might muddy the waters of the market. But that's quite reassuring that they are obviously grading it quite strictly, because I thought those two were very, very similar in terms of quality, and I thought either could, in my experience, either could go either way, and they have. He's gone 85s and he's gone 90s. So yeah, I suppose disappointed, but slightly relieved that it's reassuring to know that that's the case as well. Anyway, purely by chance, I didn't attempt to orchestrate it like this or anything, but the last one I have to open up is actually by far and away the headline act of this order. He is the most rare sought after, desirable of the figures in this order, but obviously not expecting him to get gold grade because he wasn't mentioned in that previous email that I'd had ahead of time. So this guy, now I didn't pick a blue label for him because he's in a different series. He's in the red car series, so I chose a red label for him. This is Yoko. So second Yokozuna I've had recently, and Yoko, somewhat disappointingly I think, has graded 80. So 80, 85, 85, yeah. So I kind of hope 85s for Yoko, but he's coming back 80. So, card, oh actually now that I see that in the sunlight, there is a bit of a crease in that card I didn't think I previously noticed. But yeah, looking at that close, I think that's probably a fair turnaround. But I don't think that's red though. I mean, that label looks more orange to me than red. I did pick red, but yeah, so 80, 85, 85, fair enough I suppose, that'll do. So we've got an 80 grade for Yoko, 85s for Tatanka, for Jim Neidhart, and for Retro Goldust, and then of course the 90 grade for Tito Santana as well. So decent first order with RWG. What I would say is the overall process I think is far easier, far more user friendly with and I don't just mean with UKG, I mean like I've actually looked into other companies as well. I've looked into using AFA and CAS before as well, but their websites are so complicated to navigate. This was really easy because with the like the UKG website, for example, you just you specify which type of figure you want, and you say you want 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 of them graded. Whereas with the RWG one, you go into the type of figure you want, so in this case WWF Hasbro or WWE Mattel Retro, and there's a drop down menu for every figure in that line, so you can pick a specific figure from that whole line, so there's no confusion over what you're buying, what you're paying for, because it's happened a couple of times with UK graders where I've maybe picked, I had like a WWF Hasbro tag team and I've picked WCW tag team by accident, or WCW glue figure instead of WWF Hasbro figure or something like that. But with this one, you specify exactly which wrestler it is in the line. So that I found pretty user friendly. Turnaround time, prices, let's be honest, prices are kind of eeksy peeksy. They're slightly cheaper on RWG, but I think that's obviously how it's going to be. They're not going to charge as much as UKG until they get established, and they're not going to go massively under them because then they would lose credibility as a grader. So the prices I don't think are that relevant at the moment. One thing about that though is that the RWG just charge you a flat rate. UKG, you go into the website, you pick whatever you want, and then at checkout they add VAT, which I hate. It's really annoying that you think, oh, that's how much I'm paying, and you get to the checkout point and it shoots up when they add the VAT on. This is a flat rate, no VAT is included in the RWG orders. So that's pretty good. And then turnaround time, RWG quote you 30 working days, which is 6 weeks. Okay, so 5 working days a week, 30 working days is 6 weeks, and they say that is the cutoff, that's the maximum, that's the deadline, we will not go beyond that. And this order came back in about 3.5 weeks, so just over half the allotted time that they gave themselves. UKG work completely differently. They give you an estimated turnaround time. They never specify a date. Even if you ask them to give me a specific date, they will not. They will kind of dance around it and give you rough estimations, and maybe another week, maybe another week and a half. Maybe if you say, can you tell me exactly when this will be finished? Or maybe towards the end of next week is what you kind of get. They will never commit to a date. And their estimated time at the moment, when I started using them, it was 5 weeks, it then went to 8 weeks, and it was 10 weeks. Now 12 weeks is their estimated time. And let me tell you, for UKG, if it's an estimated time, it says estimated on their website and in their orders, but that is the minimum time it will take. You will never get a UK grader's order back before that estimated time. Never. So I've interpreted that previously as Estimated, might be slightly longer, might be slightly less. No, absolutely not. It will always be longer. That is the minimum time it will take them to turn around. So the moment that's 12 weeks, you're looking at closer to 15 realistically. And I mean, let's be honest, that's ridiculous to get an order turned around. As I say, these guys took about 3.5 weeks from when I posted them to when they arrived back at my door. I understand sort of volume of traffic at RWG won't be anything like what it is at UK Graders, so they've got that luxury. But I mean, UK Graders, I'd say there's a serious competitor here, a serious competitor tapping at your door. So you're going to have to pull your socks up and buck up your ideas. I do have a fairly large Ninja Turtles order due to go to UK Graders soon, and obviously because you can't send them to RWG. RWG are only wrestling figures. You can't send anything non-wrestling related to RWG. But my Ninja Turtles are obviously going to have to continue to go to UK Graders. I do have a fairly large order of Turtles going there soon, and I think just for lols, just for bants, I might pack them in this RWG box and send them to UK Graders just to see what they make of that. But yeah, okay, so that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed that as much as I did. Hopefully for some of the guys that I speak to regularly on Facebook about Hasbro collecting and grading, I know there's a few people that have had their reservations about RWG. I've been pleasantly surprised by how strictly they've graded these figures. I think the Tito and Tatanka situation, that just kind of proves that they are taking it seriously, because those guys, again, they were close to mint figures, really good shape, similar to each other, and for one to come back straight 90s, one to come back straight 85s, particularly given that they contacted me to say this guy looks like he's going to be a 90, just to let you know, it will give you the heads up. And then they've obviously done more research or looked into it further and found no, he's not a 90. So that's reassuring, I think. I mean, I think that's positive that that's happening there. But yeah, overall, happy enough with the grades. I suppose I hoped that Yoko might have been a slightly higher grade. But yeah, I think it's fair enough. I think it's a fair enough grade. And obviously delighted to get Tito to be a 90. And even Jim as well. I mean, Jim's got 2 90 subgrades. He's got 85 for card, 90 for bubble and figure. So happy with those guys as well. So yeah, okay, so we'll end the video there. Please leave a comment. I'm sure this is going to generate lots of discussion in the Facebook groups and such. But leave a comment on the video if you want. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications, share my video. Stay safe. We'll speak soon.